here's the thing: is like not every financial decision, and I'm gonna get knocked in the block for saying this, but it's just the truth, man. I promise it's the truth. Not every decision that you make with money has to be the most financially, mathematically wise decision with the highest return on your investment. Man, I tell you what, I've been wrestling pretty much the last year. I turned 40 this year, if you guys remember. I've been wrestling the last year with like, at what point do you start enjoying some of the fruits of your labor versus continuing to squirrel away nuts and save till retirement? I feel that there is a balancing act there. Once you reach a certain threshold, and in particular, I want to discuss what my idea of that is. If you are 20 years old, this does not apply for you. If you are building your lawn care business, you are in your young or early 20s, and you have not put your head down and like went to work for like 20 years, like really hard, and have been saving for retirement, and have all those things like kind of like checked off the list, this does not apply to you, okay? But I do know a large portion of the viewership of my channel is not only guys who are starting lawn care businesses, but it's people who are kind of like in the thick of it. Maybe you're in your mid 30s, 40s, even early 50s. I got some guys in their 60s that watch, and I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this, because you probably have a lot of valuable insight to this topic. But I want to give you my thoughts. Me and my wife, we got married, fairly young, our early 20s. We've been married 16. She'd have to tell you exactly how long we've been married. It's been like 16 years, 17 years we've been married, and we have been very, very frugal our whole life. If you remember, I was a police officer there for 7 years before I started my lawn care business. She worked full-time as a nurse. So we just had, normal kind of like modest incomes. But I'll tell you one thing that we did correctly, and that was we started hammering down on retirement. As soon as we were married, we started contributing aggressively towards our retirement. And it was tough. It really was, because it was tough to think, man, we could really use this money. But once we made that initial, okay, we're going to invest 10%, 15%, 20% of her check into retirement. Like once we kind of like started doing that, to be honest, we never really noticed the difference, because we had kind of just like, we never had access to that money, so our lifestyle never needed that extra bit of money. And it wasn't like a groundbreaking amount of money at the time for us, although it would have been nice to have a few $100s extra every month. But it wasn't this like horrible financial strain on us. So I wanted to set that up by saying, so we have invested for 20 years, very good into the stock market, and we've always lived a frugal lifestyle. I started the business, Florida Turf Pros, about 10 years ago, and we were blessed beyond our just more than what I could have expected. I felt like we were going to do good, and again, we don't have like a million dollar business, but I have a very I have a lucrative business that it's a small lawn care business. I take a good salary. I have plenty of money left over. We're in a good position, is what I'm saying with the business. And we've been frugal. We're at. I just turned 40, and I know you other guys. So hang with me. I know other guys are having the same thought. And if you haven't, just think about this. At what point do you stop saving so much and say, hey, we have put our heads down for 20 years and we've worked really, really hard. We've done some good things with our money. Our retirement is on track. These next 20 years, do we continue to squirrel away nuts for retirement? I don't know, man, because here's the math on it. The math says that if we were to continue investing into our retirement from 40 now until 60, the contributions that we make to that, they are insignificant at this point because of the nest egg that we have accumulated, meaning that nest egg that we have accumulated up to this point, And it's not a huge number, but it's substantial enough that nest egg, as it continues to compound over the next 20 years, it makes our contributions negligible. It's insignificant. Our contributions become insignificant to the compounding interest that's going to happen over the next 20 years. So it got me thinking, like, that money that we could be applying towards additional retirement, wait, it's kind of insignificant in the grand scheme of things now, because we've got a nice nest egg that's going to continue compounding. What if we took that extra money that we would be contributing to the retirement and started using it on things that we enjoy now and would increase the quality of our life now? And that is the whole point of this video, something I want you guys to think about. If you are in your early 20s, I cannot stress enough to you how grateful and how thankful I am that we just did the diligent thing, that we just contributed early. Okay, I had a finance professor that went up on the board one day, and he explained all this to the class, and I remember thinking, like, anybody can do that. And we were not wealthy at the time, like, at all. And I remember thinking, it doesn't matter, because if you just put a little bit away every single month, you're going to be fine. And I just want to stress that to you guys. If you are in your early 20s, you have the ability to retire so comfortably, even if you never contributed at 40 years old and beyond. If you will just accumulate that nest egg as quickly as possible, then you can be in a position whenever you're 40 to say, hey, it's kind of insignificant now, my contributions to retirement. What if I started taking that extra money and doing things that increase my quality of life now? So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing is, if you are in your mid 30s, your 40s, and maybe you have some in retirement, or maybe things are changing, like in your family, I would encourage you to think about, and I say this to myself as much as I say it to you, we all come from kind of like a grind mentality. Most of the guys I know in this industry, in the lawn care industry, they come from like this grind, money saving mentality. Like, every now and then you run across a dude who's just kind of crazy with money and throws it around, but for the most part, people like in lawn care, they're frugal in general. They're keeping expenses down, they're frugal with what they're doing. And I think we all have a tendency to save to a point to where we're just squirreling away extra nuts for the sake of squirreling away extra nuts. And I want to leave you with this. I know two men, they've both since passed away, that they worked their entire lives at plants in our area, in the Pensacola area, chemical plants, and they did exceptionally well. They didn't have like great paying jobs, but they saved up and they retired with millions of dollars they retired with. And I kid you not, they never used any bit of it, and they just saved and scrimped their whole life away. Oh man, I guess what I'm getting at is, there is this kind of like paradigm shift that's happening in my mind right now. Maybe it's with me turning 40 now, but there is this shift in my mind that's like, hey, if we have checked some of these boxes on things that, like, we're on track, I don't want to keep delaying enjoying myself now for just squirreling away a few extra nuts 20 years from now. Because the truth is, man, we're not guaranteed the next 20 years. And having an extra X amount of dollars in retirement, what is that worth, dude? If you're missing out on doing some things with your family that you want to do, like do the vacation, man. Like, it's okay. It's okay to take that vacation now. It's okay to buy the 4-wheeler. Like, if that's going to give your family insight, like, buy the boat. Like, here's the thing: is like, not every financial decision, and I'm gonna get knocked in the block for saying this, but it's just the truth, man. I promise it's the truth. not every decision that you make with money has to be the most financially, mathematically wise decision with the highest return on your investment. Because I tell you what, man, you will make yourself absolutely miserable if you run every single financial decision through, well, is this the highest ROI? No, like buying a boat, that is a terrible financial decision. It's going to go down in value. If you're 20 years old, you shouldn't be buying a boat. You should not be buying a boat. I'll just say that. You should be investing as much as possible for 20 years to put yourself into a position that when you're 40 years old, say, hey, that extra money that we really don't need to even contribute now towards retirement, like we could get a boat for our family if we wanted to do that. And I guess my point is buy the truck, buy the four-wheeler, buy the boat, buy the camper, buy the fifth wheel, go take the vacation, do the thing. If you have checked boxes off, go do the thing, man, because I don't want us all to keep squirreling nuts away for the sake of squirreling nuts away. Because I tell you what, when I was 20 years old, I look back on it and it was like it was yesterday. And here I am 40 years old and it happened just like that. The same thing is going to happen when I'm 60. I realize that now. I realize that 60 is going to come just like that. And I don't want to turn 60 years old and realize that this next 20 years that's ahead of me, that I said no to doing things with my family. I said no to fun things. I said no to things that will give me a lot of memories for the sake of simply squirreling away a few extra dollars. I would challenge everybody out there. If you are in a position now where you have done some good things with your money and you're in a good position, let some of it go. Like, enjoy yourself, man. Enjoy yourself. Like, it's okay. And I promise that I am talking to myself as much as I am talking to you. I hope this offers some perspective. Like, if you are in your early 20s, man, do it. Freaking just do it. Go put your freaking head down, dude, and just go gangbusters for 20 years. You'll be ahead of 99.99% of people. I promise. You're going to be 40 years old and say, where did the time go? Holy cow, I'm so glad I delayed my gratification. And it's going to put you in a position when you're 40 to say, hey, what if I started enjoying myself a little bit now? But if you're in your 40s, I would challenge you, man. Balance trying to squirrel away extra nuts right now for retirement versus still enjoying your life some, man. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, we all work too hard. This work is too hard to not enjoy some of the fruits of my labor. If you guys are in your 60s and you watch this channel, which I know there's a lot of you that do, I would love to hear multiple perspectives on this, because I know my perspective that's unique to my situation, but I bet it's applicable to a lot of you guys out there. But I would love to hear feedback. If you're over 50 years old, give us your thoughts. There's a lot of young guys that watch this channel. There's a lot of guys in their early to mid 30s that watch this channel. I got a good mix of people. Would love to hear the perspective that you guys have. You guys take care. I'm going on vacation. I'll see you.